YouTube fam, it's Gypsy Joe here again with Things Galore, and today I'm going to walk you through a few short videos on how to make some spooky creations for your Halloween soaps. So some little pumpkins, some tombstones, and some little ghosts, and some bubbling cauldrons. I did get a new soap making material that was relatively cheap on Amazon. I think it was $8 or something, and for soap making supplies, it's pretty easy. It's actually a polymer clay extruder, which if you don't have one of these, don't panic, it's a-okay. You can do it all by hand, it just saves a little bit of time. So in this short, I'm going to go ahead and make the cauldron. So we're just going to push these out of the way here. Just a little bit so we have a little bit of room. So essentially what the extruder is going to help me do is make the lip and the bottom of the cauldron. That'll save a little bit of time. But besides that, like I said, if you don't have it, not a big deal. You can go ahead and roll these little snakes by hand. So the first one, I do want as you can see here, the bottom lip is a little bit smaller or thinner around than the top lip. So for the bottom, I'm going to use this extruder die. It's a smaller hole. And then for the top, I'm going to use this, and you'll see how this will turn out. So what I'm going to do is unscrew the cap. As you can see, I've been working with white or gray soap dough already. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of soap dough down in there. I'm going to put my small round die down into the tip of the extruder. Easy peasy. And we're just going to screw the lid on. And we're going to crank this handle until we just get a little snake, long enough basically to cover the bottom of the cauldron. There you go. How cute is that? What a time saver. Oh my gosh, I love it. So we're just going to break that off. And then while I'm at it, since I have the extruder already ready, I'm just going to unscrew this and change the die and get the top of the cauldron out now. Now that we have that smaller die off, we're just going to insert the bigger one. Same process, just screw it on the top here. And like I said, don't panic if you don't have one of these. It's the same exact process, only you're going to roll them out by hand, just how you make little snakes anyway. And now that we have the larger die in there, we're just going to extrude another little snake here for the top of the cauldron. It doesn't have to be much because, these are miniature items. So we're just going to pinch that off right there and set this to the side. So as you can see, here's the two difference in thicknesses for the soap dough extruder. So this one's going to be for the bottom of the cauldron. This one's going to be for the top. But you can feel free to customize it and make it all your own. And the remainder, what we're going to do is just roll a round, small soap dough ball in black, but we're going to squish the top and the bottom, just make a little flat indentation. We don't want it to be completely round. We want the sides to be round, but we want the top and bottom to sit sort of flat so that we can attach the rims to the bottom and to the top. Now that I have my bottom rim ready, what I'm going to do is attach it with soap dough glue, aka water. So what I'm going to do is just put a little water here on the inside where this is going to be the bottom. So I want the bottom lip or rim to sit more on the inside of the cauldron. So what I'm going to do is just place it right on there, right where I put the water, just kind of walk it around. Once you put that water on the soap dough, it really wants to stick to itself, which is great. And then all I do is use my fingernail. I mean, you can use an X-Acto knife or whatever you have on hand, something to, cut the soap dough. But I find my fingernails just, it's handy. It works for me. So I'm just going to push it, make sure that it's really well attached. And it doesn't have to be a complete circle because this part of the embed is going to sit down in your soap like this. So you don't even have to put this bottom lip. I just like it, you know, it I know it's there. Okay. And now that you have that lip there, it's going to sit really well for you. Essentially, the next part is going to be the same exact thing, except you're going to do, I like to kind of put my water a little bit more around the rim, the outside of the cauldron here. And like I said, now that there's a little rim on the bottom, it'll sit nice and flat for you. It's not going to roll around. Sometimes I like to start to kind of roll it make a round shape. Sometimes it makes it a little bit easier, and then you can just kind of sit it down on top of there. But you'll really be amazed that if you've never made embeds like this before, that once you do stick the water on there and kind of push down for adhesion, it really does do a great job at gluing the soap dough to itself. Some other soapers do use on more of a hardened soap. If you're trying to attach soft soap to hardened soap, it doesn't want to stick so great. So what they do is use a paste of cold processed soap and water, and that does seem to work a little bit better for them. But as right now, because this is all soft, fresh, soap dough, water is just fine. There you go. There's the cauldron. How cute! I love it. And the next part is going to be the green bubbling potion on the inside. This part is going to be done by hand. I don't really have an extruder. There's nothing that you can really, maybe you could find something, but I think it's more trouble than it's worth. All I'm going to do is flatten out a piece of green soap dough, and we'll walk you through it. Okay, so what we're going to do is just get a piece of green soap dough, flatten it out. We don't want it paper thin. We do want it to have a little bit of substance to it so that we can make the indentions on the top and make it look like a little bit of texture, kind of bubbly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is kind of pull my cauldron over here, because each one is handmade. They are going to be different. So we're going to just kind of size it up. I do want it to be a little bit bigger than too small. And so what I'm going to do is just use my fingernail. Of course you can use an X-Acto knife or whatever, but I'm just going to kind of work it around in a circle, take off the excess. Alright, so this side is looking good. We just need to clean up this side. Okay, and as you can see, by no means is this a perfectly round shape of this green soap dough, but that's okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to round the edges just a little bit. We're going to just kind of flatten them, make sure they're just a little nice and smooth, nothing too crazy. But what I'm going to do is kind of push from the bottom, and I'm going to make a nice little concave shape. So it gives the illusion that there's more soap dough there, and that there's more depth in the bubbling the bubbling cauldron without having to use so much soap dough. So it's a win-win. I think it's a cute effect. So essentially, by the time you do that, it really does, it fits on there just perfectly. So what I'm going to do is put more soap dough glue, aka water, all over the top. I like to do a pretty good portion here. Okay, and we're just going to put it on top. Now what we're going to do is we're going to press around the edges, the green edges. We don't want to press the center, because remember, we made it in kind of a heaping soap dough piece. So now that we have it all kind of pushed down, and make sure, you're not pushing down on the center, because there's really nothing underneath there. I guess you could just use more soap dough, but I'm a little bit more cheap and I like to conserve. So that's what I use. Now you can use, I got a nifty little tool in another kit, and it's just kind of like a needle. You could just poke it around, or you could use a toothpick, or whatever you have handy. The quickest and easiest thing that I have found is this little spinny wheel. I think it's for, cutting or making indentations. So what I like to do is just kind of run it around the green soap dough, around the edges a little bit. I feel like this kind of helps seal it a little bit better to the black soap dough. And then just gently run it over the top. You can just kind of smush it around, because I wanted to kind of give the illusion of a green bubbling potion. How cute is that? I love it. You're going to do a little few twisties. There you go. How cute, your little cauldron. Top, bottom. And they will be so cute on top of Halloween soaps. Okay, and in the next video shorts, we'll be going through the RIP tombstones. Stay tuned. And as always, if you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and give a thumbs up and subscribe. I'd much appreciate it. Alright, I'll see you on the flip side.